A very good morning to all of you. In this video, we are going to learn about a separation of substance. So, in this lesson, I would like to explain the various methods for separation of a components and the difference between the pure substance and mixture. So, let's enter into the lesson. First one, pure substance and mixtures. We use a variety of substances in our everyday lives. These substances are made up of small particles called molecules. These substances are of two kinds. One is pure substance, the another one is mixtures. Substances that contain only one kind of particles are called pure substance. For example, water is a pure substance as it consists of only one type of particles. What happens if you dissolve salt it in? Will it still remain pure? No. As we know, have salt particles along with the water, salt water is now a mixture as it contains more than one type of particles. And then mixtures. A mixture is a combination of two or more substances that mix together without any chemical. There are two types of mixtures, that is homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Then separation of substance. Mixtures of various types are used for different purpose by all of us, but sometimes the different components of mixture need to be separated. It may be required to separate some impurities or useless components or a harmful components to obtain the different useful components. For example, water, sugar, fat, proteins, vitamin, and calcium are the constant of milk, which is a mixture. And our body needs calcium and proteins, but too much fat can be unhealthy. So, in order to make the milk healthier, it has advised that most of the fat from the milk is separated. So, when your mother pour tea into the cup, she separates the insoluble tea leaves from the tea by using the strainer. And then seawater has a salt in it. It is possible to separate water and salt. So, to separate the components of a mixture, we need to find a separation process which could be used to transform a mixture of a components into the distinct component. So, there are some methods for separation. The separation of the components in a mixture can be carried out on the basis of different properties of the components. Methods used for separation of a mixture depends on the type of the mixture. Let's study the most commonly used method for the separating components of a mixture. First method, hand picking. Yes. Have you observed your mother separating rice or dal on a plate and then trying to remove small stones and mud in the rice? Sometimes fruit sellers separate oranges and apples of different sizes and stack them in a separately. They sell the bigger ones for the higher price and they also remove the rotten pieces from the heap. This process of manual removing of component of a mixture based on the difference in their size, shapes, appearance or a quality is called hand picking. So, the next common method is magnetic separation. Suppose you have a mixture of plastic beads and a solid iron beads of the same size in a container means how would you separate such a mixture? Can you do it easily by hand picking? Or are you thinking would happen if you brought a magnet near the mixture? When a magnet is brought close to the mixture, the iron beads get attracted to the magnet and thus get separated from the plastic beads. This separation technique can be useful in iron as only iron gets attracted to the magnet and rest of the unwanted substance are left behind. It's also used to separate recyclable iron waste in a junkyard. And magnets also used to remove iron splinters from the body of an injured person. So, this is called magnetic separation. And then threshing. Harvesting is the process of collecting crops. Have you ever seen stacks of harvested crops in the field? So, the next step of harvesting is threshing. It involves separating the grains from the stalks by beating the stalks on the hard surface. Another traditional method of threshing is to make donkeys and axes in circle on the stalks on the hard surface. This process is now done by the threshing machines such as combine harvesters. So this is a tradition. Then winnowing. Winnowing is the next step after threshing. It's a process used to separate heavier seeds from the lighter components like dry straw pieces and chaffs by the action of wind. The simplest way is to stand on the higher level and allow the mixture to fall on the ground. The wind blows away the light components while the heavier grains fall. Sieving is a method of separation of particles of different sizes using a sieve. A sieve is like a net or a mesh which has a holes. The size of the holes is such the particles of only one components of the mixture which is able to pass through the sieve. Then sheaving is also used extensive as a construction sites to remove the pebbles from the